Yellow, fellow people, and today I'll be doing a video on the top 10 best Transformers of 2024. Sorry that I haven't been uploading anything. I lacked any motivation, but this will be my last video for 2024. Sorry if it feels lackluster for the entire year. Let's just move on to the list now, shall we?
Oh yeah!
So, starting off with number 10, it is Legacy United, Vector Prime. So, for the most part, he works as a Legacy GX's remold. They remolded a lot of him to look different, and I like that. Though the parts that aren't remolded, like the arms, torso, sides, and legs, do stand out, and it makes this figure look very off-proportioned. Anyways, aside from that, they also fixed the QC issues, like the yellowing all over the figure and the head popping off. For some reason, mine does that. But unfortunately, now there's the wings being loose, and the tail fins on mine actually pop off on some occasions. I think there was another one, I don't remember. Anyways, so aside from that, he also has a pretty cool accessories. That being the sword and his cyber key. And I like how they're both cast out of this shimmery clear plastic. It is weird why this sword is cast out of clear plastic though. Anyways, and you also got options on where to put it. Like I showed earlier, their sword, his chest, or even his back. So, yeah, that's cool. And he has the same possibility as G-Axis, and his transformation is pretty similar, but there are a few added steps, and some of them are not really fun. So let's move on to his vehicle mode. And looking at jet mode, and just like robot mode, they remolded a lot of this figure to look different from G-Axis. Anyways, aside from the back and the underkibble, that is practically the same and they stand out. Anyways, a pretty cool thing about this is that there's an extra step for the chest to make the jet mode look better. That's actually pretty cool. And weapon storage is not that bad. You can just place this on the side, and you can place the cyber key either on the chest or over here. Now then, there are Minicon ports, and he should be Minicon compatible, but I don't have any Minicons that would be compatible. Roll bar here is not the best, since it's stuck. Wait, what? Since there's no space for it. That's upsetting. Anyways, so yeah, I'm not really bummed out that there's no safeguard here, since they blew most of the budget on remolding this figure to look different, and making it a new mold would decrease its chances. So yeah, not much else to say. Let's just move on with number 9. So moving on to number 9 is TV series Bumblebee Sun Streaker. So the weird thing about this figure is that it exists, because there was literally no implication that this guy had any concept art for the movie. But yet here he is. Anyways, so robot mode here actually looks really good. I like how they made it a bit different from the G1 design, so that it's not entirely a carbon copy. Anyways, and another weird thing about this figure is that it's actually pretty bad in a good way. But I don't know how to describe it. Anyways, and he also comes with a few accessories, which are pretty cool, since you can either have him holding them by hand, or plug these onto the shoulders, which is weird, but okay. Or you could place them onto the back. Hooray for options. Anyways, now posability for this guy is actually pretty bad. What about transformation? It's actually pretty fun. Let's move on to the robot. To the vehicle mode. And looking at him in car mode, he looks really good. It's a Cybertronian vehicle with aspects similar to a Lamborghini. Yeah, there's not much else to say about that. Anyways, he unfortunately doesn't roll really well. So, yeah, that's kind of sad. And I like how the weapon storage here actually works, considering it looks a lot like the air intakes that he had in the original Sunstreaker toy. Anyways, so yeah, there's not much else to say about the car mode. It's just really good. Let's move on to number 8.
It's a minigun, Sonic!
Moving on to number 8, it's Legacy Evolution Skyquake. For some reason, this guy was re-released in Target a few months back. I don't understand why they did that. But anyways, I'm glad they did because this figure is really good. There are a lot of problems with this figure, however, like the arms refusing to stab in, this hollow space on the back. I hate that. But other than that, he's really good. I really like the design on here. It's a really cool mix between the G1 design and the Prime design. And I like his accessories. He comes with the essentials: his sword and his minigun. And I like how the sword folds in and stores inside the minigun, like so. We need more storage like this. Anyways, visibility is decent, and transformation, it's both fun and pain. Let's just move on to vehicle mode. Looking at him in jet mode, he is a hecking chonker. That's because, just like the robot mode, his jet mode is a perfect mix between G1 and Prime. Executed pretty well as well. Anyways, I really like this jet mode. It's really nice looking. And I like how there's landing gears and even an interior. Awesome. Anyways, and there's also these tabs that are supposed to be for needle nose. I don't have needle nose, so it's useless for me. I don't really like how the arms don't tap into the waist properly though. Anyways, and weapon storage is not that bad, but it does get in the way of the landing gears, unfortunately. Anyways, so yeah, that's really all I have to say for this figure. Let's move on to number 7.
Hermano.
Moving on to number 7, it's Legacy United Origins Wheeljack. So robot mode here is really good. Despite all the kill, they managed to make it work. The accessories are pretty good as well, like this cannon over here, which could be mounted on only one side of his shoulder, or his hand. And he also comes with a blast shield that actually functions in both modes, and the propellers, which aren't really useful in robot mode, but will be in vehicle mode. Anyways, so his posability is not that bad if it wasn't for the fact that the kibble here blocks most of it. And yeah, let's just move on to the transformation, which is a bit fiddly considering how it's all panels. Anyways, let's just move on to vehicle mode. Moving on to his van mode. And yeah, van mode's really good. Not much else to say. I like the way it looks, and it's also pretty accurate to how it looks in the show. Anyways, so cool thing about his accessories is that they actually have a place in here. The blast shield could either go two ways. You could place it as a ramp, which I don't really like doing, but it's something you can do, or you could wrap it around the figure. And the weapon obviously goes on top. The propellers go on the bumper, like so. And because this part is actually the back part of the robot mode, you can store them inside. Anyways, and if you open this up, you actually get a hollow cavity, which is used for putting Bumblebee inside. I love how they actually made the effort of doing this. It's actually my favorite gimmick of this figure. You can actually store Bumblebee inside. So yeah, this figure is really fun with the gimmicks. Let's just move on with number 6. Moving on to number 6, it is Authentic's Bravo Class Optimus Primal. So, yeah, I never would have expected an Authentics figure to be here, but here we are. So, his robot mode here actually looks really good, surprisingly, despite the lack of paint apps, or it's entirely made up of paint apps, considering how most of the gray here is painted gray. It is a weird choice that they made, to be honest. Anyways, and visibility is decent, and accessories are decent too. I kind of wish he came with his swords rather than his blasters. And yeah, and transformation for this guy is just the Kingdom Optimus Primal simplified, so it's pretty good. Let's move on to his gorilla mode. So moving on with his gorilla mode, and yeah, it's not that bad. The chest is a bit too flat for my liking though. But other than that, it's not too bad. I like how there's a lot of techno-organic detailing going across this figure. And on all fours, he doesn't look that bad. But when you try to get him standing, he looks pretty weird. So I'm not doing that. So that's really about it. Oh wait, and the weapon storage is not that bad. You can place these on the back, like you did with the raw mode. And yeah, so that's really all I have to say for this figure. Let's move on to number 5.
Give me your faith.
Moving on to number 5, it is Studio Series The Fallen. This figure is great on robot mode. He's pretty accurate to how he looks in the movie. And yeah, he also has a pretty fun gimmick, that being you can remove the face. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I just love it purely for the gimmick. His staff is 2 pieces and not 1 piece, unfortunately. The one piece is no longer real. Anyways, and posability is rather limited due to the appendages that he has on his arms. His legs are actually way better than I expected. And transformation is pretty simple, and it gets the job done. Let's move on to his jet mode. Anyways, so looking at his jet mode, it's something alright. It's definitely not a jet, but it's something. At least it's better than what we got for the original toy line. Anyways, I like how they place the staff halves on each wing. But yeah, other than that, this is a pretty messy jet mode. And the appendages do annoy me when transforming this figure. Anyways, so other than that, he's really good. Let's move on to the next figure now, shall we?
Am I the only one in here?
Moving on to number 4, it is 3D Series Core Class Mohawk. Finally, Hasbro releases a Bayverse figure. And it's on one of the worst movies. Anyways, so robot mode here is goofy looking, considering that's how he looks in the movies. But overall, it's not that bad. I don't really like the way the feet work on here. It is annoying, but overall, not that bad. I like how there's an opening mouth gimmick, and the head is removable. And if you have any figures that have a 5mm peg, you to place the weapons in, like CD Series Optimus Prime, you know what to do. Anyways, moving on, his only accessory is a knife, which I don't think he's ever used in the movies. And you can just throw that in his hand or in his back. Weird weapon storage. Anyways, so posability is alright. Most of it is just ball joints after all. And transformation's actually pretty fun. And let's just move on to vehicle mode now, shall we? And looking at him in vehicle mode, yeah, the motorcycle is admittedly pretty clunky. It does take some getting used to though. I like how there are some detailing around this figure to at least make it look like a motorcycle. But even then, you can still tell it is just a robot folded up. Anyways, I don't really like how this leg doesn't tab into the front end properly. And in case you're wondering, no, the front end, because of the legs, can't really move anywhere. It's just static. I like how the knife acts as a kickstand, even if most of the time it doesn't work. And I like how the feet do form the seat. That's pretty cool. Anyways, so yeah, this is just an overall fun figure. Let's move on to number 3 now, shall we? Moving on to number 3, it's a twofer with Legacy United animated Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. Setting off B to the side here, let's focus on Optimus for a bit. So, he looks really good in robot mode. It's a neat mixture between G1 and animated. And some of the designs from the G1 design are actually fit pretty well with the figure. I don't really like how the chest looks on here, considering how it makes up most of his torso. And the knees on mine are pretty loose. He has a pretty cool accessory, that being his axe, which has an extendable handle, and it's also Blush compatible. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Setting this off in his back. Let's move on to Bumblebee now, shall we? So, yeah, as you can see right here, he can still do that stinger combination that he could do in the original toy and in the show. And looking at B here in robot mode, he looks really good. Hold on. He looks really good. He is a neat mixture between G1 and animated, although it's hard to tell which parts of him are supposed to be from the G1 design, considering how B already had details similar to the G1 Bumblebee. So yeah, it is hard to tell. I'm pretty sure it's the arms that are from the G1 design. I don't know, to be honest. I don't like how the paint scratches easily, and the ankles are limited. And so are the stingers, because the port here is at an angle. So if you try to plug them in, they'll be at an angle. Accessories are pretty cool though. I like how he comes with his turbo boosters that he has used in the shell, and you can also use the stingers as blast effects for the boosters, which is cool. Anyways, so possibility for both of these is pretty good, and has limited ankles, like I said earlier, and transformation for them are actually really good, and they're also pretty different. So let's move on to vehicle modes. So looking at these two in vehicle mode, let's start with Optimus. So I really like the way he looks. He is pretty accurate to how he looks in the show. I don't like how the weapons. I don't like the weapon storage and the truck bed, and he doesn't really roll really well. But overall, it's a neat looking vehicle mode. And I like how they actually made the effort of molding in an interior that you will never see in vehicle mode. Like, look, you can see the seats, you can see the control panels, and I'm not sure if that's radio or not. And yeah, not much else to say. It's a really good truck, aside from the rolling. And looking at B here, he looks really accurate, and I really like it as well. I like how they added the effort into molding in the stripe as well as the slide bar. And there is no paint on the back, no. And the rocket boosters don't really plug in really well. But he actually rolls really well, so that at least forgives it. So yeah, I really like these two. Also, I actually did see Age of the Prime's Wasp. I want him. So let's move on to number 2 now, shall we? This won't be the last time you see an Optimus and Bumblebee in this list.
Another!
So looking at number 2, it's Studio Series Transformers 1, Optimus Prime. So this figure is really good in robot mode. Not much else to say. He has good posability. He has good accessories. The problems, however, are the fact that his gray does not look good. It's better than what we got for the stock images, but it still doesn't look good. The tubs over here do get in the way of his arms, so they can only strut out in order to be straightened out. Or if you don't want that, you could just have them at an angle. It's annoying. And also the weapon storage is not good. Like, this bumper blaster is loose. The Energon access storage is too tight. These pegs are not the best. I should actually sand them down. Also, it is cool how they did mold in a few fingers on the axe. That's cool. Anyways, and this is just a minor nitpick. The neck joint does get in the way of the chest window, so I have to move that up a bit. And you see a matrix of leadership. Pretty cool. And another cool thing about this matrix of leadership, he can actually hold it. So I'll be right back to show you that. And here we have him holding it. The unfortunate thing about it is the fact that his right hand is really terrible at holding it. Only the left hand is good. So that sucks. Anyways, so his transformation is actually pretty different from what you would expect for an Optimus Prime, or at least at the arms. So let's move on to his vehicle mode now, shall we? Now looking at him in truck mode, the overall truck mode actually looks really good. I like the look of it. It's a Cybertronian truck that works. Anyways, and I like how there's actually weapon storage for his accessories. As you can see right here, the axe does go in between the legs. And the bumper blaster, that's obvious. They go into the bumper. So yeah, overall this is a really good figure. Robot mode's good, really good. Transformation is not that bad. And we also get a really good looking truck mode as well. So let's move on to honorable mentions. So moving on to number 1, So looking at Bumblebee first, he's really good in robot mode. It's literally what a G1 Bumblebee should be. And yeah, not much else to say. He's just really fun to mess around with. His possibility is not that bad. His accessory, if I still had it, unfortunately it's lost, was really good. I have to make do with Origin Bumblebee's weapon. And yeah, not much else to say. His transformation is also pretty fun, and I'll talk about his vehicle modes later. Anyways, and moving on to Shockwave, it's literally an oversized core class Shockwave figure, so I obviously love it. They have done a lot of improvement on this figure compared to the core class figure because of the higher budgeting and more space for paint apps. And I like how it comes with a rubber hose now, but I'm worried that I might break it, so I won't really use it that much, except for videos. And I find it funny how he has an Autobot symbol over here as a reference to his model having it. That's pretty funny. And his cannon looks better than what we got for the core class figure. And I also like the purple here. It looks way better. So yeah, a lot of improvements on this. Posability is not that bad. He doesn't have bicep swivels though. I've seen a lot of controversy over that. I don't know why. And transformation's nearly the same as the core class figure, with a few added improvements due to the higher budgeting. So let's move on to their vehicle modes. That was a coin. So looking at these two vehicle modes and the differences between these two is pretty funny to look at. Anyways, so starting off with Bumblebee, it's a small, compact Volkswagen Beetle. What's not to like? It's adorable, aside from Volkswagen's history in World War II. Anyways, so yeah, it's a very adorable Volkswagen Beetle. He rolls fairly well, and this is where his weapon would store if I had it still. I am still sad that I lost it. Anyways, and then there's Shockwave. He's a friggin' cool tank. He looks a lot like Prime's, just like the core class figure. I don't really like the way the feet look on this figure though. They hang too low for my liking. But other than that, it's a really good looking tank. So yeah, these two are number one. Pretty funny. So yeah, and now we wait for 2025. 2024 for me was not really the best start. It did get better, and Transformers 1 did come out, and that movie was really good. So yeah, and I'm glad for all of you who stuck around with me, and I'll see you guys next year.